Has anyone ever told you that life after 80 might take you by surprise? Even those who've spent a lifetime standing strong and self-reliant can find themselves navigating unfamiliar territory. In today's episode from Seniors Wise Advice, we're uncovering 5 profound and often unexpected truths that emerge once you step into your 80s. These aren't just the typical signs of aging or the numbers you read on a medical chart. They're more personal, more nuanced, subtle shifts in how others perceive you, how time seems to move differently, and how your memories begin to reveal insights you never saw before. Some of these changes might feel familiar, things you've sensed but never quite put into words. Others may surprise you, but all of them share a common thread. They reshape your experience of growing older. And while these realities can be difficult to face, naming them can be the key to understanding them. There's strength in awareness, in knowing you're not alone in what you're going through. So stay with us, because by the end, you might just find a sense of peace and purpose in places you didn't expect. Let's begin with the first reality: the shrinking circle of social connection. One of the quietest but most impactful changes after 80 is how your social world begins to narrow. You may still get the occasional phone call or welcome a visitor now and then, but the rhythm is different. The once easy flow of friendships and regular conversations feels less consistent, more delicate even. Friends move away, face their own health battles, or, sadly, pass on. Family, though loving, are often caught in the whirlwind of their own responsibilities. Without realizing it, you may begin to spend more time alone, not out of choice, but because the opportunities for connection have faded. This isn't about resentment. It's about acknowledging reality. Few speak openly about how hard it becomes to sustain relationships in this season of life. The invitations slow down, the phone rings less often, and visits are spaced further apart. Even if you've always been content in solitude, the silence can grow heavier than expected. You may find yourself reminiscing more, not just out of nostalgia, but to keep the presence of loved ones alive in your heart. The laughter you once shared, the routines that once filled your days, now feel like cherished keepsakes. And that's perfectly okay. Feeling this way doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. It's not weakness, and it's not loneliness in the way people usually understand it. It's more of a quiet shift, an inner adjustment that nearly everyone encounters, yet rarely anticipates. That's why emotional connection becomes so important, not just with others, but with yourself and your personal story. Even having 1 or 2 close, meaningful relationships can make all the difference, because when the crowd grows quieter, it's those few deep connections that hold the greatest value. Now, let's move to the second reality: how small health issues can become big ones. One of the more sobering surprises of life in your 80s is how even minor health concerns can quickly escalate. A cold that used to pass in a few days might linger for weeks. A simple bruise heals slowly, stubbornly. And a stumble, something you might have shaken off in the past, can now lead to a hospital visit, physical therapy, or worse. It's not just that the body slows down. It's that the buffer zone, the body's ability to bounce back, starts to shrink. Where you once recovered almost automatically, now everything takes more effort and more time. Something as small as missing a meal or not drinking enough water can throw your whole system off balance. And while you may still feel strong in many ways, and you are, that quiet, constant resilience your younger self could count on doesn't quite show up the same way anymore. This isn't something most people talk about openly. Doctors may wave it off as just part of aging. Friends and family might not realize what it feels like on the inside. But you notice. You feel every slow recovery. You sense the energy that takes longer to return. And, more than anything, you may feel a rising frustration, especially if you've always been independent, active, and proud of it. It can feel like your own body is turning against you. But here's where the real power lies: in awareness. Recognizing these changes isn't defeat. It's wisdom. When you begin tuning in to how your body responds, you gain the ability to adapt. You can slow down, not out of weakness, but out of care. You can respond to your needs with purpose. More rest, more hydration, more kindness toward yourself. This stage of life isn't about proving you're still invincible. It's about preserving your strength by respecting its limits. And sometimes the most courageous act is giving yourself permission to fully rest and recover. That's not giving up. It's showing up for yourself in a whole new way. If you're still with us and finding this video from Seniors Wise Advice helpful, type number 2 in the comments below. It helps us know you're here and you're not alone. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time to hit that button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video from Seniors Wise Advice. Your support truly matters. It helps us continue to create content that informs, encourages, and reminds you that you're not on this journey alone. Now, let's move on. Number 3. The quiet loss of visibility in social spaces. One of the most unexpected and unsettling experiences after 80 is the growing sense that people no longer see you. It's rarely intentional or cruel. It's more of a subtle cultural shift that almost no one talks about. You enter a room and the energy stays flat. You begin to speak and someone cuts in, not because they're being rude, but because they assume you were finished. You might repeat yourself, wait longer to be acknowledged, or find your thoughts brushed aside in conversations, even among loved ones. It's not simply about being ignored. It's about a fading of presence in a world that seems to prize speed, noise, and youth more than ever before. And it can feel like your age shows up before you do, casting a shadow that makes others assume they already know your story, that your thoughts are less relevant, that your time has passed. But here's the truth. Your presence still matters, deeply. Your stories carry weight. Your reflections are layered with lived experience, hard-earned wisdom, and a clarity that only time can offer. You've laughed, struggled, grieved, grown, and loved across decades. That matters. This shift in visibility can bring on a range of emotions: sadness, quiet frustration, even grief. But recognizing it for what it is can also bring strength, because this isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of a culture that too often forgets the power of its elders. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. The people who truly matter, the ones who slow down, who listen, who see you, those are the people who understand what's real. And yes, it may take them a little longer to recognize your presence, but when they do, it's meaningful. You don't have to speak loudly to be heard. You just have to speak with truth. So don't shrink back. Don't let the silence define your value. Continue sharing what you've witnessed, what you've learned, and what you still carry with quiet strength. Because even if the world doesn't always pause to listen, you still have something vital to say. You are the calm center in the noise, the quiet example of what grace, resilience, and real perspective look like. Number 4. The narrowing of your daily life. One of the more difficult realities of life beyond 80 isn't just what shifts within your body. It's not just what changes inside your body. It's what slowly fades on the outside. The life you once knew, full of daily routines, familiar faces, and places that felt like home, begins to gently contract. Not all at once, but little by little. You may find yourself staying in more, not because you've lost interest in the world, but because the effort to engage with it feels heavier. Everything is just a bit farther, a bit more complicated to manage. Friends who once stopped by regularly may move away, face health issues, or pass on. Neighbors change. Beloved cafes or community spaces close their doors. Your world doesn't collapse. It simply becomes quieter, smaller, and with that comes an emotional weight. At first, it's subtle, like a silence that hums in the background. But over time, that silence grows louder. Even if you've always valued your independence, there's something deeply unsettling about watching the familiar fade away. Yet, here's the truth. Acknowledging this isn't a weakness. It's strength. There is clarity in naming what you're feeling, not as failure, but as grief. A quiet, dignified grief for the life you've built, the places you've loved, and the connections that have shifted with time. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you did care. Deeply. But here's another truth. Even as the old world gently recedes, a new one can still emerge. It may not be filled with far-off travels or large gatherings, but it can be rich in new ways. Maybe through more meaningful conversations, a growing friendship with someone younger, or simply sharing stories that breathe life into your memories and touch the heart of someone who needs to hear them. Life doesn't have to be wide to be fulfilling. It just has to stay meaningful. So make that phone call, even if it's long distance. Say yes to that online group, even if it feels unfamiliar. Step outside, even if it's only to the mailbox or garden gate. Your world may look different now, but it is far from over. It's evolving. And within that change, there is still room for joy, laughter, and genuine connection. If you're still watching and this message speaks to your heart, comment number 4 below so I know you're with me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. That simple act helps Seniors Wise Advice continue to bring thoughtful, supportive content straight to you. Now, let's continue. Number 5, the unpredictability of your own body. After 80, your body becomes less predictable, and that can be one of the most difficult adjustments to face. One morning, you wake up clear-headed, steady, and strong. The next day, everything feels off. Your knees ache for no reason, your hands don't grip quite the same, and a fog seems to settle over your thoughts. What makes this especially frustrating isn't just the physical inconvenience, it's the sense of betrayal. You've lived in this body for decades. You've trusted it, relied on it, pushed through challenges with it, and now it changes without warning, without explanation. You might set out to take a morning walk, only to be stopped in your tracks by a wave of fatigue you didn't see coming. Or you bend down to tie your shoe and realize standing back up takes more effort than it used to. Maybe it's a sudden bout of dizziness, stiffness, or a strange sensation in your hand that vanishes as quickly as it arrived. And here's what people rarely say out loud. It's not just the unpredictability that's hard, it's how it slowly eats away at your confidence. You begin hesitating before stepping outside, not because you can't, but because you're unsure how your body will respond. That hesitation brings a quiet vulnerability, a sense of caution in situations where you once felt strong, steady, and self-assured. This reaction is completely natural. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're aware, and that awareness is powerful. Because while your body may not be as reliable as it once was, your response to it can become your new foundation. Flexibility becomes your strength. Adaptability becomes your greatest tool. You start to plan with more care. You pace yourself with more wisdom. You learn to treat yourself with patience instead of frustration. You begin to rest when needed, stretch when it helps, and speak with your doctor not just in moments of crisis, but as a way to stay informed, to stay ahead. Because knowledge, even in uncertain times, returns a measure of control. And while you may no longer count on your body the same way, you can count on your experience, your instincts, and your ability to adapt with grace. So no, your body may not cooperate like it once did, but you, through experience and thoughtful awareness, are still fully in the driver's seat. If you're still with us and finding these reflections helpful, comment number 5 below so we know you're here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. Your support helps Seniors Wise Advice continue bringing thoughtful, honest, and empowering content directly to you. Now, let's close with this. Final thoughts. We've just explored 5 unexpected and difficult realities that often emerge after the age of 80. Each one can catch even the most prepared person off guard. From the quiet fading of longtime friendships to the unpredictability of your own body, these changes aren't just physical. They're emotional, social, and deeply personal. But here's what's also true. Acknowledging these changes isn't about surrendering to decline. It's about stepping into this chapter of life with clarity and intention. When we name the shifts that come with aging, we take back a measure of power. We live more fully. We move with more wisdom. We carry ourselves with greater freedom. So now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 realities resonated most deeply with you? Have you noticed any of them in your own life or in the life of someone close to you? Take a moment to share a single takeaway from today's video and how you plan to respond. Maybe it's letting go of a regret, reaching out to someone you've drifted from. Or perhaps it's as simple and as profound as treating your body with more kindness and patience. Whatever it is, know this: your story has weight, and your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Because aging doesn't strip us of value, it reveals a new kind of perspective, a richer, steadier kind of strength that only comes with time and experience. And when we name these truths together, when we support one another, we grow not only as individuals, but as a community. Thank you for spending time with Seniors Wise Advice today. Your presence means a great deal to us. Please leave a comment and let us know what you're taking away from today's conversation, and how you plan to carry that insight forward. Your voice truly matters here. And if this video spoke to you, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need this message too. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful content that uplifts, informs, and connects. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you in the next video.